Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Next Gen MFG. I'm your host, Noosh, and this episode, I'm joined by somebody who I've had the honor of meeting in person last year at IMTS. She's always inspiring me, and it's quite fitting for her because she's literally a Titan. If you don't know what that means, she works for Titans of CNC, which she'll be explaining what they are to her, but for me, they're a really great resource for anybody who's interested in CNC machining or manufacturing, and she is part of that team that helps inspire so many people around the world. So, this episode will talk about Kylie's path to manufacturing, starting with business administration, her multiple roles at work, and the impact social media has had on manufacturing and more. So, first things first, who are you and how did you get involved in manufacturing?
All right. Well, hi everybody. My name is Kylie. Basically, my journey to manufacturing actually started when I was really, really little. So my dad has actually been in this industry for 30 plus years, and I grew up with just this secondhand kind of education to the industry. I remember growing up and just hearing a million and a half like sales calls that he would always be on, whether we were in the car or at home. He was just doing his thing. And so he started at a company called Selway Machine Tools. And so it's basically just a distributor based out of Northern California. And his territory started like in the Bay Area and then Sacramento area. And then when we moved to Roseville, I was really, really little. So I'm originally from California. And he took over the territory of Northern California and then like Reno, Nevada, and up through those areas. And he actually had like 90% market share out that way. So he took over that entire space and absolutely loved it. Met so many amazing people out in that area. And then I remember as I grew up, we would go to either little trade shows or just open houses that Selway would have. And so I was always kind of surrounded by his job and the people that were brought in through that. And I remember going to like little shops. And then when I was maybe, I don't know, 11 or 12, I remember going to Titan's shop actually. Like it was a shop that I just can remember to this day. He had this giant aquarium and just machines and all these things. And it was just like the coolest thing. But I remember being so terrified of him as a kid because he was just like this big guy and tatted out and all these things. And never did I think that I'd end up, working for him one day. But it was just always something that was really intriguing, and just the relationships that my dad created with everybody in the industry and the way he would talk about how amazing these people are, it just kind of this fascination for it festered. And then as I grew up, I just wondered if I would ever get into it myself one day. So I guess my initial introduction to manufacturing comes just strictly from my dad.
That kind of makes sense because at IMTS, I was starstruck watching you talk to people
Mm.
because I mean, yeah, it's your job to communicate with people, but you do it so well. I was like, oh, I gotta take notes, not just like with your customers, but also with other people that were coming up to you and talking to you. There were so many things happening at once, but you didn't, make it seem obvious that you were overwhelmed or anything like that.
Oh,
And I was
thanks.
really inspired by that. I was like, oh, dang,
Oh,
that's
thank
where you get
you.
that from. Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah, he's so good with like his interactions with people and has just this way with people. It doesn't matter, who you are, where you came from, what your background is. You could have this small, tiny little garage shop or something, or you could have one of the biggest shops like in the US, and he's going to treat you exactly the same. So I just kind of try to emulate that to the best of my ability. It's like everybody has this passion for it and is so determined to make something of themselves, and it was just such a good example to follow.
That's really cute, actually. Like you make time for everybody. I love that. What's it
Yeah.
like working with your dad right now? Like how is that dynamic?
Yeah, so it's great. At first, it was a little bit rocky just because my dad has a work ethic that is so hard to keep up with. I mean, I don't see anybody work as hard as he does. He's always been that way, especially even now at Titans. He's had to actually work harder than I think he ever has because he's the only person on our sales side of things. So, working with him and seeing how much effort and time he puts into literally everything he does, we also were like almost neighboring offices too. So there would be times where he'd just like burst through the door and be like, "What are you doing? What's going on? Or what are you working on?" And I'm like, "I'm good, I promise." So there was a lot of pressure at first just to like make him proud or show him that I was doing everything that I should be doing. And now that I've been there for almost a year and a half, he obviously trusts me now, like with everything that I'm doing, and he's really proud of what I'm doing. So it's great. I still live with my parents right now. I've just been saving money. I move here really soon, which is exciting. But at first, when we first started, we were actually carpooling together. And I'm like, Dad, I love you. I love spending time with you, love working with you, but I need to maybe not carpool and like be with you every second of the day. So that was always something that was a little bit like I just spend so much time with him, which is great, but a little bit of pressure there. So
It could be a lot sometimes. It could definitely be a lot. Speaking of what you're doing at work, so what do you do at work?
yeah, so my day to day kind of differs. It depends kind of what's happening during the week or what we're maybe focused on. But in a nutshell, like my title is Head of Strategic Partnerships. So basically, when someone comes on as a partner and they've signed that contract, I'm their main point of contact from then on out. So I'm like the best person to get in contact with if there's promos going on that they have that they want our audience to be aware of or their audiences to be aware of. So we know what to focus on when it comes to content creation. I also sit down with them to say, okay, what content do you want to see from us? How do you want us to showcase your product? Or how do you want us to showcase your just brand and business as a whole? Do you like the content that's been coming out? What should we tweak here and there? And so a lot of my job is just letting them know the content that's going to be coming out soon, like what's on our production schedule, and how do we maybe need to alter that or tweak that so that they're happy with what's coming out as well. And then in other moments, well, I guess I check in with partners on a different schedule. So I'll check in with them at least once a month. And then quarterly, we always go over the analytics of how the quarter performed on the content side of things. So I'll pull data from all of our social platforms. That's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, and then obviously YouTube. So I'll pull those, create a report for them so they can see, how many impressions did they get? How many views did they get? And then what was the engagement on all of that content? And then we kind of evaluate it to see, okay, do our audience more so, do they like the storytelling side of things? Do they like just seeing it in an application form? Like, how do we want to change the narrative so that they're getting a good response and people are really understanding how this product can help them in industry? So that's a really big part of things. Also, I do help on the side of like our web store and basically just our storefronts. So something we've moved towards a little bit this last year, or I guess I should say more so this year, um, we have delved into the distribution side of things. So we're actually selling a lot of product for our partners. And when it comes to that, and we have a big partner come on, we'll actually sit down and create a full-blown landing page for them that's dedicated to their brand and their products specifically. So people can really get a nice experience when they're on the store. They're looking at exactly what they want to be looking at, and it showcases every brand that we represent really well. So that's another really big part of what I do, making sure that their landing page looks nice and people that do go on there looking for product have easy access to it and get a full understanding of, what it is. We try to explain everything really well so that people don't necessarily need to ask a ton of questions when maybe they're looking to buy something. So that's another thing that I work on a lot. And then a fun little extra caveat to my job is the commercial side of things. So I do like being on camera, and that's always really fun. Everyone at work kind of calls me the commercial girl sometimes, or like head of emails. Um, yeah, so then I jump in front of the camera every now and again and really focus on the promos so that those partners get a good bang for their buck when it comes to just like the commercial side and posting ads and whatever that might look like.
It's nice seeing your face on YouTube and stuff. Not that I have anything against any of the other Titans, but it's really
Yeah.
nice seeing another woman, like a woman, representing what she's doing, and then also seeing you like run through some of the academy parts is really cool. I was hoping, in the future there'd be more videos like that, just because I know for a fact there's probably another young girl out there that's like, oh, I
Yeah.
could do that too. You don't have to be manly, to want
Yeah.
to work in the trades or anything like that. And I really wanted to talk to you on my podcast because you have a very different background when it comes to your education and how you got into the trades, but it's
Mhm.
still important and it's a necessary void that you have to fill. Like, we
Yeah.
need communications to like our partners and our customers. We need to build our websites. It's really important. And it's really important that young kids know that because there is another avenue for you to get into the trades or into manufacturing.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about what Titans of CNC is in case anybody doesn't know for some reason what that is?
No, it's funny. Like I feel like we're sometimes very niche and then sometimes very global, and a lot of people know what we do, or a lot of people don't know what we do, and that's totally okay too. Like it hits very specific audiences. And so if someone doesn't know what Titans of CNC is, basically our story kind of began when Titan found a love for machining. His story is long, so I won't go 100% into like the entire background of it. But basically, he came from nothing. He didn't know exactly where he was going to go in life, didn't know what to focus on, and ran into a little bit of trouble when he was really young. And then he kind of needed to figure out a way, okay, how do I still make a life for myself in a way that I respect and that other people will respect, but also that I have control over. And so he found machining kind of through that and started to just push the boundaries of what machining can be and maybe what it should look like. I remember my dad told me when he visited Titan's shop for the first time, he walked in and it was something that he's never seen before, just the speeds that he was running material at and just these speeds and feeds that he was working with were something that was just so unheard of and not seen in the industry before. We come from, or the industry comes from such a strict way of doing things, and it's a really hard cycle to break out of, and it's a really hard thing to actually push those limits in because a lot of shops out there don't have the bandwidth or just the ability to actually run tools in a way where you have the potential of breaking them. Obviously, like everything in this industry is really, really expensive. And sometimes people just don't have the funds to try to do that. But he said, you know what? I'm going to do it anyways. And with that knowledge that he found and pushing those limits, it was like, more people should know about this. More people should know that you can take risks in this industry. And so he went off on his own and then went through, the crash of '08 and had to build from the ground up again, like after, figuring out what it is that he loves. And then decided, well, if I want to get my message out there, at the time, TV was such a big way of communication. We didn't really have YouTube yet, and all these things and all these ways of communicating with people from all different corners of the globe. And then YouTube happened, and he's like, okay, I could either spend, a full 40 days filming, editing, and putting together a TV episode, like just yeah, like an episode for TV, or I can spend a couple of hours filming myself and editing myself and then putting it out to YouTube and it hits possibly a bigger audience. So, one of the first videos that actually came out for Titans was we machined this eagle like bust basically, and one of the first videos that we put out like hit 1 million views in the first couple days that it was posted. And he's like, this is how I can reach the audiences that I want to reach and get my message out there. And so then, as that was happening and as the show was still kind of going on, he was actually contacted by San Quentin Prison. Um, and they said, we have a machine shop that's been run down for years and years and years, and we really want to give these inmates something that they can actually teach themselves and once they leave here, they have something to look forward to, that they've created something that they can look forward to. They can put food on their table for their families, provide for their families, and just have a way to get out of this position that they're in. And so he went into that prison and rebuilt their machine shop from the ground up and said, you guys have an opportunity here right in front of you to change your life. And it's something that's extremely important. You just have to be willing to put the time and the effort into it. And so they all went through this program and it changed everything. And so he created the academies from that. What do people need to know about running a CNC machine, learning how to program all of these things, and how can I teach people in a way that they understand that it's actually not that difficult if you just put in the time and understand every aspect of it. And so the academy was kind of born from just wanting to teach people that you can learn things at any age. It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, what it is, but you can make something out of nothing just by following what it is that we're putting out into the world. And so the academies taught these people that had absolutely zero prior experience in this industry. And, they all came out of that, out of prison, and they're now still friends with Titan on Facebook and everything. And it's like this really amazing relationship that was created. And he saw them and was like, they're exactly like I was. Like I was in this position not that long ago. So he gets it and just got it and wanted to just teach and show people that it doesn't matter what your history is. If you focus on something and you put your heart and soul into it, you can do anything. And so that's kind of how everything began. And now it's just exploded into this thing that has gotten so big. And we have an amazing following. We have close to, I think, 5 million fans and followers all over every, that goes for like every social platform we have, like combined. And then we have, 260,000 students using the academies all over the world. Like it's really amazing what it's turned into. And so, yeah, that's kind of where it began and a little bit into where it is now. But we're really just trying to educate people that you can learn so much in this trade and you can really take your knowledge of what you're doing to just a higher level. Like it should be quality parts that you're putting out. It should be quality that you're running at. Like it should be, there should be a standard there. And we really want to just close that gap in this skilled trade and really show people you can go from, the basics or what maybe somebody has taught you just word of mouth and take it up a level. Like push yourself to be great. And you can do that. It's right at your fingertips. And everything that we give out is free, like you don't need to pay for any of this. We're just trying to help you and say, this is a better way to do this. And you're going to actually benefit so much from it because people will be like, wow, we can just be better across the board by just educating ourselves. So that's kind of the main thing. Sorry, I kind of start to ramble after a while, but
No, you're okay. You're okay. I do that too. But I was gonna mention like, and it's free. Like that's the most important
yeah.
thing. It's a free resource. And if you're ever stuck, there's a whole the CNC Experts website. There's a way out of the confusion. And on the YouTube comments, like if you comment and you're confused, people will comment back. People have always commented back on my comments, and I'm like, oh, okay, hey.
Yeah.
But like something that is really important to me is posting these free resources, showing people that they have them. If you look up manufacturing on Google, the first thing that comes up as a resource is Titans of CNC.
Yeah.
So it's important that we highlight that. A lot of people will talk shit. Manufacturing isn't like that, this, that, and the third, but at the end of the day, it's that exposure and that willingness to give out that information is important. I don't see anybody else doing that. So you've been working at Titans for like a year and a half, and I'm sure throughout that time there have been a lot of really cool visitors and guests that have come through those shop doors. So who are some of the coolest people that have visited the shop?
That's a good question. One of the coolest, I guess, like names that people would know, Bryson DeChambeau has come into the shop multiple times. For those of you that don't know who that maybe is, he's a two-time PGA Tour champion. He's a amazing golfer and just also has this love for education that he's trying to, just lift up as well. He's there for people and he just has this passion for it also and is so fascinated by, manufacturing in general. And so that was a really cool person to have come in and talk to us. And, we're helping him with a project for his house, and that'll be really, really cool. So that was a really fun person to have come into the shop. Um, I'm trying to think though of like other big names that we've had in. Obviously, we have a lot of companies that come through all the time. One of the best things that I've heard of a group that came through the shop was a group of high school students. They're based down like southern Texas a little bit more so, but they're a K through 12 and came in with some of, I think, their senior class. But then I was talking to their teacher for a little while, and he was saying that at the kindergarten level, they're actually teaching kindergartners the different axes. So y-axis, x-axis, z-axis, and they're actually making them 3D print in kindergarten. And I was like, that is the coolest thing I've ever heard. Like, that's awesome.
That's wild. I feel like that's something that my little brother did when he
Yeah.
was in middle school or in kindergarten because he was telling me he was like, "Yeah, I know how to code." When he was in 6th grade, and I was like, "Oh, word." I, okay, I don't know any of that, but I think it's really cool that you get to work in a place where you get to meet all these really cool individuals, all these business owners, all these companies. Anyways, do you happen to remember what your first day was like? Because I got this question on my Instagram. Somebody asked me, like,
Okay.
ask her what her first day was like. And I was like, that's a really good question. So I'm gonna throw that in there. Do you remember what it was like?
So my first day, um, I wonder if I should talk about my first like real day as an actual employee, or like the first time I was ever in the shop, because those are two very different experiences and both were really cool.
Both.
Okay. Okay, so I first went to the shop when I was actually visiting my parents here for the first time. It was like right after they moved, and I didn't really know what to do. So when my parents were moving here, they kind of stranded me back in California. Like I had just gotten my first job and I had just graduated, and they're like, "So we're picking up and moving to Texas. Dad's working for Titans and CNC now." And I'm like, "Okay, so does that mean I moved to Texas? Whatever." So anyways, it's my first trip here, and my dad's like, "You need to come by the shop and just come check it out." So I go, I pull up and I walk through the front door, and my mind is just blown. Like this place is so much bigger than I imagined it, and there are machines on every square foot of this freaking place, and I'm like, oh my God, like this is crazy. And not to mention, it doesn't look like any machine shop that I've ever seen before. I'm used to, walking around, there's coolant all over the floor, oil on the floor, like you have just these barrels full of chips that are like overflowing. But this place, it looks like you can literally eat off the floor. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm walking through, like meeting all the guys, and I'm like, this is like a guy's playground right now. This is insane how amazing this place is. And, Titan's walking around with us on this tour and everything. And this was before I even knew that I was going to have a job here soon. And I'm just interacting with everybody. Everybody is so incredibly nice, like just asking or answering any questions that I might have had, and just like welcoming me with open arms and walking around. We get back to the Swiss like section that we have in the shop, and Titan's like, kind of looking at me. He's like, "You're like a weird little copy paste of your dad. Like, you have the exact same energy as him. Like, you're able to interact with people super well." And so, yeah, my first experience being there was one, just mind blown, and two, mind blown again by how nice everybody was. It was amazing to walk in there and just be surrounded by people that were so kind, and it was awesome. And so, yeah, that was like my first experience going in there ever. Uh, Definitely overwhelming too, because I didn't have a ton of knowledge going into that. Like, I thought I knew, what a spindle was and like all these things, and I actually didn't really know at all. But then my first actual day, I remember going in and I have my Titan shirt on and everything, and I'm like, gosh, am I supposed to be here? Like, this feels like maybe I shouldn't be here. I'm surrounded by all these guys too, and it was like, whatever. But I go in, and then first day, I just decided to walk up to a group of the guys. There's like four of them standing over by the EDMs, and I just started talking, and they're like, wow, you fit in pretty good. So it was actually really welcoming and easy. And then we had, a team meeting in our conference room, and Titan put me on the spot like first day. It was like, what are you expecting out of this? Like, how do you think this is gonna go? Whatever. And I'm now having to openly like talk to all these people that I just met, but you dive in kind of just head first, and it was really fun. And then, during the afternoon I did all the HR stuff, but other than that, it was a really good first day. They got me all my, equipment. I sat down in my office and I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening right now.
That's actually a really good piece of advice for anybody who's honestly doing anything in their life. Like don't be nervous. Just
Yeah,
go and talk to somebody. The people are really nice. And
yeah,
going back to like not knowing what a spindle is and all that stuff, when I was starting out, didn't know anything
yeah.
about a CNC machine, and it's kind of crazy because I told the job that I was applying to that I was like, yeah, I have mechanical aptitude. Like I know what a wrench is. I don't know what a spindle is, but I know what a wrench is, but I'm gonna tell you that I know what a spindle is. And
I
they actually like let me work there.
love that.
Surprising. I told them like my second day, I was like, I actually don't know what I'm doing for real. And
Yeah.
they were like, yeah, we knew, we could tell, but it's okay. We were gonna give you a chance and actually teach you.
Aw,
And they taught me like really well. And
yeah.
that's something that people don't realize about our industry. They're not mean. They really are eager to teach, just as eager as we are to learn. They really want to give that back to us. And I think it's
Yeah.
really cool that you found that on your first day as well. Um, I want to kind of go back to social media because
Oh,
Titans is doing really great on YouTube and TikTok, RIP, because by now TikTok is probably gone.
oh,
I was wondering what kinds of YouTube videos are your favorites to be in? Because you're in a lot of them, but I want to know personally what is your favorite to record?
that's a good question. I have a lot of fun like doing the little ads and things. Like obviously those are just a ton of fun and I can run with them kind of myself. There'll be times where, Titan helps me with the, script or whatever I need to say. But the most fun that I've had on a YouTube video was actually when I made my first part for sure. A way longer process obviously than like the little ads are. And yeah, but there was something about, I guess I should go back to the first like long form video I was in because that one motivated me to then do my first part. So the first long form YouTube video that I was in there, I was just running straight passes for a program that I didn't write. Jesse actually wrote that program. And we were just like faking it, like, oh, she wrote these programs, whatever. She's gonna run and like see how chips fly for the first time, whatever. And I'm like, okay, like awesome. But I felt like part of it was a little bit difficult just simply because like I didn't write the program myself and then I'm having to like give this reaction that isn't 1,000% genuine. And I actually got kind of flamed in the comments for it too. Like people were like, she didn't do that, blah blah. I'm like, you know what? You're not even wrong. Like I can't even argue that. So then going into my second long form video, and also like I'm sitting there at this machine, my hand's nowhere near the e-stop, like, and I'm just like jumping around like a freaking kid at a playground, like I don't even know. So didn't handle that one the best, but obviously we learn. And so I was like, you know what? F this. I'm gonna go make a part. And I need to get back into it because this end of the year, I've just gotten so busy. I haven't been able to get on to my second one. It's programmed and ready to go. I just need to freaking put it on a machine. But anyways, I go in and I'm like, I'm gonna open this up and be like, I hope you guys don't think my machining journey is stopping at a couple passes on some material for a program that I didn't write. So look at this. I just made this first part. And so that was like a really feel good moment for me because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out and actually learn what the guys on the floor are doing every single day. Because I knew in my mind, if I was gonna go to that length, like that's just gonna help my knowledge for the industry grow just exponentially. When you're sitting there and you're hands on and you're doing it yourself and you understand how everything works together, and how you can take just this raw piece of stock and turn it into something so beautiful and do it all yourself. Like that's a really good feeling. I remember how proud I was of myself just finishing the Mastercam side of it, like running all those tool paths and checking it and making sure I wasn't going to crash into anything. I was like, this feels really good. And then I felt really confident going into that second video. So that I think to this day is still my favorite video that I've made. And this year I'm gonna finish the building blocks, like do everything. Got a little sidetracked with the holidays and whatnot, so give me some slack. But anyway,
No, it's definitely really empowering making your own parts. Like
yeah,
I felt that way when I realized like, oh, I'm making car parts. Like this is kind of cool. Like I have it's gonna sound kind of evil, but like I have the power to either make this person's car run very well or it blows up. Like there's no in between.
right.
Um, but oh crap, what do I want to say? Oh, building blocks. So speaking of the Titans of CNC building blocks, can you explain what the different classes are?
Yeah, so to date, I think we have five different academies like that are full blown their own thing. So basically, when you go onto our website and you're looking for an academy, we have the building blocks, which are basically starting you from square one in machining. You're going to go on and you're going to look for the very first part. It's called a Titan 1M. And basically, you're going to have a tutorial that's going to show you the SolidWorks side of things. That's our partner for the CAD. And Billy, one of our remote employees, he's an awesome machinist. He's going to take you through the CAD side. And then for the next part, then you go into the master cam where you're actually programming everything. And Nicole, another remote employee of ours, she's going to take you through the entire process of what it looks like to program. So once you have all of that done, then you can watch a tutorial that will show you exactly how to tool up your machine, get everything ready to go, and then actually start running your parts. So that's our basic building blocks. There's actually 10 different parts in that. And so it goes from the Titan 1M to the 10M, and the 10M is actually closer to an aerospace looking part. It's like a little iso grid looking thing. And so that's like the top of the line for that one. And then we have a few other academies. So we have the Aerospace Academy, which is awesome. So if you want to learn how to run in just different kinds of harder material like Inconel, Manel, whatever it might be, you can go to that academy to learn that. We have a grinding academy. Not a lot of people know a ton about CNC grinding, but it's a super, super interesting little niche of manufacturing. So we have that with our partner, United Grinding. And so that will actually take you through, again, just the basics of grinding, how to turn on your machine, set up your machine, etc. And then we have a little 5-axis series that's in the academies, so you can learn how to 5-axis machine, and Jesse teaches you that entire thing. We have a fixturing series as well, so that's another really cool one if you're learning just better fixturing processes. And then the latest that we have is the Swiss Academy. So obviously we focus on Swiss quite a bit too. Our partner Tornos, and we partnered with them a few years back and then decided, you know what? We have 7 Swiss machines sitting on the floor here. I think that it would be amazing to create an academy explaining Swiss because it's so different from just your typical 3-axis, 5-axis, whatever it might be. Like it's a totally different world over there. And Donnie is like the best when it comes to explaining that. He's been working on Swiss machines since he was 9. So, yeah. So we have a few different ones there, and people can learn, everything, and it's amazing. And it doesn't matter what niche of machining you're in. Like we have an academy that's going to help teach you. If you want to learn more or want to maybe figure out a new trick or something that would fast track your process, like we're a very good place to just gain some extra knowledge. You can run with it or not. Like you don't have to implement what we're teaching, but if you're stuck on something or you don't know how to do it at all, it's a really good place to go for just a resource.
Heavy on the if you're stuck on something. Like multiple times, if like when I got stuck setting something up on the machine, I would look up Titans of CNC setting up this, and
Yeah.
thank goodness you guys had a video on it, and now you guys have the Swiss Academy, so I don't even have to do that. I just got to go through the Academy videos and find it. But correct me if I'm wrong. I think there's a community thing on the website where if you don't have a CNC machine yourself, you can get connected with somebody in your area that does. So if you can't actually cut the part yourself, you could find somebody in the area that can cut the part you programmed. Is that true?
Yeah, so that is
Okay.
true. So we actually all over the globe have what we call small communities. And basically, these are people anywhere in the world that have said, I will open up my shop doors for anybody to come in. And if they have completed and have the certification from the Titan parts, I'll open up my shop doors to them and put them on a machine so they can run it. So it's not even like, oh, here's the part I made, here's all my certs, and here's my program. You can actually go into their shop and take over one of their machines yourself and run it yourself. So they won't even do it for you. They just said, "Yeah, I'm a place that people can come and do hands-on work and make them or make these parts themselves." So yeah, it's amazing. We have a ton of them all over the world.
You guys have built such an amazing network. That's crazy. I didn't even realize like they actually allow you to come in and machine it yourself. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's I should not say that's crazy. That's amazing. Um anyway, speaking of Titans again, when is the Boombastic open house this year?
Yeah, so that is going to be June 18th, 19th, and 20th. Last year we were like around the beginning of May, but we realized, or some feedback that we got was a lot of schools were actually still in session and we're actually going through finals week. So we decided to move it back a little bit to the more so the middle of summer so that if students wanted to come, they weren't dealing with school at the exact same time and like couldn't fit travel into their schedule to travel out to Texas to come be with us for that. So we moved it back, and then actually the last day of the open house is Titan's birthday, and so we're going to kind of celebrate this year doing that on his birthday. So Friday will be a fun little celebratory day.
That's fun. That's fun. I'm planning on being there this year. I didn't
Yeah.
get to go last year, but this year I'm planning on going to a couple of trade shows. Before I get to closing off, I want to ask you what your hopes are for the future of the skilled trades.
Yeah. Let's see. I wrote down a little bit about it just because I wanted to make sure I was saying all the right things here. I guess the biggest thing when it comes to this industry and my hopes and dreams for it are just one, we've lost and we're on track to lose the stigma of it being, this dirty trade that has this weird, like, gray cloud hanging around it. Like, oh, I don't want to get into that. The people in there are, dirty, grimy, mean, like, whatever. Like, shop floors are disgusting, like, all this stuff. Like, there is just such a stigma surrounding this trade that it doesn't deserve. Like, I understand that it used to be, crazy back in the day and unsafe and not cleanly, like all these things. But these days, it's really moving towards something incredible. The biggest thing that I see happening right now in the world is people want to bring that respect back to the United States and want to bring that respect back to things that we create and what we manufacture and bring to the table here. So, my biggest hope is just that people recognize the incredible opportunity that's right in front of them to just get involved. Like, it doesn't matter at what level you're involved. It doesn't matter if you're on the marketing side of things, if you're on the shop floor, if you're a CEO, like whatever it might be, there are so many ways to continue to make this industry grow. And not just in size, but just the quality and the innovation that it's bringing to the table. Like, this is a way to change people's lives in so many different aspects and also just to bring respect back to something that, we took so much pride in back in the day. Like, I feel like it's just kind of lost its way a little bit through the years, and I really just want it to come back to what it stands for, and that is strong, skilled, and smart individuals like making a life for themselves. And it's incredible where it can go. But I believe that, girls like us or anyone at our age, we almost have a responsibility to raise the bar. You know, we are in a generation that has more access to knowledge than anyone before us. We have so much access to all these resources and all of these things. And it's like, why shouldn't we be out there fighting to make this the best thing that it can be. We have the opportunity right in front of us right now to say, I don't like what's been going on so far, but I have the ability to change it. And I think that's something that's really inspiring. And you're not going to change it overnight, it would never happen. But just to be somebody that's so dedicated to what they're doing and to uplifting everyone around them, it's something that could be amazing. And I just want to see more kids choosing this trade as a career path. I want more educators showcasing its value, and more families understanding how essential it is to our daily lives. Like, I go around and I'll try to tell people, what I do for work, and so many people don't even really know what it is. And yet it's around us every single second of the day. Um, but manufacturing isn't just about making things, it's about creating a future that we can all be proud of.
That was so beautifully said. Oh my God, you have such a way with words. We need people that are going to help make our country better. I definitely want to, like, I've been trying to reach out to my high school lately to see if maybe at the career fairs we could start having more trade schools
Yeah.
present because I think when I was in school we didn't have any trade schools at all. And I had already known by that time I was going to go to automotive school, but it would have been nice to see that being represented there, or even having like an employment program, because where I'm from we have a summer youth employment program,
Mhm.
and if we had kids that were welding at a shop, not even welding, but like if they were being like shop hands somewhere, that would
Yeah.
be helpful and they would learn, a little bit more about a trade that they might want to pursue.
I think that reaching out to the high schools is a huge thing because I remember, uh, gosh, did we? I don't even remember if at my high school we had a machine shop. I feel like maybe we did, but like you barely see that anymore. Like it's really hard to find one a high school with an actual machine shop, but like you don't even see like woodworking classes anymore.
Hmm.
I never had an opportunity for anything like that. And I feel like, some of these kids in certain areas, if they just had something that they could put their hands on and realize, like, oh, actually, I'm really good at this. It's just having the opportunity to try it. Like, it doesn't even matter if you don't like it, or it doesn't even matter if you're bad at it. But at least you gave it a shot to be like, okay, here's all these things that the world has put in front of me as like opportunities or careers or possible career paths. And so many people overlook the trades. It's like, well, here's an opportunity right in front of me where I can be extremely creative and I might not even know that I'm good at it yet, but it's simply because I didn't have the opportunity to even explore it. So I feel like at that age, like kids are so impressionable and are so curious. If there's a safe way to do it, and again, somebody that is just an amazing, amazing advocate for Titans and just manufacturing in general is Gabe Kuyers. Like, he's one of our biggest cheerleaders, like out there. He got Titans of CNC literally accredited as a curriculum in Michigan. Like, it's now going to Virginia and other states. Like, we are trying to become a program that kids can follow and then go into shops and say, here is my Pelican box full of parts that I made, and here's all the certifications that say I did it myself. And we're seeing kids out of that high school with 100% job placement. It's actually insane.
That's wild. See, like if a lot of other schools took, took
Yeah.
from that book, we would have a lot of great kids in the trades. English is not happening right now. Uh,
It's okay.
if I had known that I could make my own car parts before I went to automotive school, I would have just gone to like a manufacturing tech school or something like that. At the end of the day, I knew I didn't want to work on cars, but I knew I had a passion for cars. I
Right.
had a passion for that kind of stuff. Didn't really think that I could make that stuff, Like if you have a passion for makeup, you can make makeup. If you have a passion
Yeah.
for yarn, you can make yarn. Art supplies, you can make like there's if you like RC cars, you can make RC car
Yes.
parts, and that's like another thing I'm trying to show people, and I was going to do that on TikTok, but now I can't. I was
Yeah.
going to try to show people like if you like hobbies like this, you could print your own parts for it, you could design
Right.
your own parts for it. And Titans of CNC literally teaches you how to design parts for free. So I mean,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, I can't do that anymore on TikTok. I'm gonna just have to do it on Instagram now.
I know, and I'm
But
I'm really pissed. Like, I can't believe they're like taking this away. I really hope it doesn't. There's like no way. they can just take away a platform that is literally just showcasing free speech. Like we and the communities that have been built on TikTok and the audiences, like you can't just create those again on another app. Like I'm so angry with this whole thing. It's just I don't know, it's one of the best things that's happened, and I understand how distracting it is and all these things, but there's such an opportunity in TikTok and you're just taking away like people's jobs. Like basically 7 million people are going to be laid off once it's gone.
And the lives that it changed, like for the
Yeah.
better, not it's done a lot of bad, yes, but people
Yeah.
have actually had their lives completely turned around because of TikTok, because
Yeah.
of the money from TikTok or because of the exposure, whatever it is. But I guess that's less important than your information is being stolen, but it's being stolen literally everywhere else. And it
Exactly.
sucks because it's just the US. Like, Canada still has TikTok,
I
everywhere else.
know.
Like, it's whatever, I guess.
I'm just going to change my location to Canada.
I don't care. My phone might. I'm a Canadian citizen now, as like
100%.
for
I
all
am.
it cares. But is there anything else that you wanted to talk about?
Um, I think I talked about just about everything I wanted to. It was perfect. I was like, this is
Okay,
awesome.
awesome.
I know I actually
Yeah.
meant to look back at my Instagram story because I had a few people ask. Oh my God, my friend Abigail swiped up and she goes, "Is it a requirement to be hot to work in manufacturing, or is that just a coincidence?"
Oh, she's so sweet. No, you are really hot though.
Oh my gosh, thank
Oh,
you.
oh my God.
That was
Um,
hilarious. Oh, Shay asked a question. I guess we actually kind of answered it, but she said, "How can we help the industry understand the power of social media and inside out selling?" Inside out selling.
um, I, hmm. I think for one, we have to not get rid of TikTok. I mean, that's like the biggest social media platform.
Yeah.
But I always keep saying this, but post the same content that you post on LinkedIn, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Make it crazy, make it educational, make it something that people want to click on because that's how that's how our brains work. Just I guess post more though.
Yeah,
But
post
yeah.
more and like post like authentic content and find things that really like solve a problem. I feel like
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing. Like I feel like everyone out there has, all these different problems that they're facing and they're like, "Oh, I just need this one thing," or like this purchase would help, me get out of this problem that I'm just stuck in or whatever. Because I feel like this generation and where we're at, everybody already knows what it is that they want. They don't even want to go through a salesperson anymore. Like we find everything online. And so I think it's
Hmm.
just putting out the right information and just a good way to find it. And having it be that authentic feel, I guess.
Oh, someone did ask me like what your favorite material was to run, but I'm not gonna lie, I was like, there's so many, like, should I ask her this?
Yeah, and I have only run in aluminum so far, so I can't even say like, "Oh, I like stainless better than this," or whatever. And for camera purposes, we don't use a lot of the hard materials very often either. Like Donnie gets flamed all the time because he's using brass, and he's like, "Well, I'm not going to run it in stainless because it's literally going to blow up the machine if I don't use coolant, and you can't see anything when we run coolant."
Yeah, I don't think people understand that. I don't think they like put two and two together that like but that's how you know you're doing something right though. The amount of comments that you get. But you're such a good person cuz like I be wanting to fight them, but I'm like maybe I shouldn't. Not on this public
So many
YouTube
times.
platform.
I want to go back in the comments and just like, oh, I want to go after people so bad, but I just can't. I'm like it's just a waste of my time. And it's like, you know what? Whatever. Your comment doesn't matter as much to me as my job matters to me and like everything that we're actually doing. And they never know the full story. So
Hmm.
whatever. I just try to let it go. But it is so hard sometimes because I just want to jump back on and be like, ugh.
That's really good advice actually though. Like your career is more important than the people that are talking shit. So just
Yeah.
try to like separate yourself from that, you know? Thank you so much for joining me. This was another episode of Next Gen MFG. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your days. Please make sure to rate this podcast 5 stars on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Leave a comment. Make sure to check out Titans of CNC on YouTube, LinkedIn, not TikTok anymore, but wherever else you get your content from, make sure to follow them. Follow Next Gen MFG, follow Kylie and I will see you on the next episode.